everybody. Welcome to the stream. Glad to see you all here. And yeah, welcome to the official upcoming open source launch of my new website, lichter.io. How is everybody feeling? I see already some people in. That's great. Awesome. Let's just join, go straight away into the code and have a look. Or, you know what? Maybe let's take a look at the actual website first for everybody who didn't see it yet. I'm doing great, thanks. Yeah, same. Oh, and the first follower, thanks a lot. I'm doing great too. Yeah, I can't complain at all. So let's have a look right away. Oops, that should not go through intro again. But you know what? We'll run it again. It's fine. Why not? All right, here we go. Now changing transition back to the classic one. That's the website. We'll check. It should be already running on localhost as we see here. Let's see if everything is up and going. No, of course I have to start the dev server first. In the meantime, yeah, most of you have seen already, and we'll take a look into the code right away. Yeah, a dope intro. Shout out there. I did not make it. The intro was made by Nikki. So she did a phenomenal job on the transition, the intro, lots of graphics, also made the photos. So yeah, huge shout out there. All right, and let's have a look then at localhost 3000 and boot the whole thing up. And I see, of course, the address is in use already, which is a bit unusual, but then let's just switch the port real quick to 3001. And let's try that. All right. In the meantime, while Nux is putting up, if you see anything, if you have any questions, then please just let me know straight away. We'll go through all the things I've prepared so far, and then we will open source it. Yeah, that's the plan. So here it is. Quickly showing this without my face on here, and maybe also without a chat, but you've seen it already. So yeah, that should work out fine. So let's get back here. And maybe we should check out the code straight away. So let's jump with me into the whole project. And here we go. All right. Let's start very simple. If something is too small or too big, please let me know. Then I will ensure I can increase the font size a little bit, maybe like that. Yeah. Right now, it's the whole project is in a different repository because I wanted to keep it private for a little bit. This is hooked up to my website for Netlify, and yeah, we can have a look first at the README file. So very simple. Tech stack, of course, Nuxt 3, surprise, surprise. Day1 CSS. A few modules we'll have a look at. And yeah, after that, I mentioned some patches because I had to patch some of the packages, mostly Nuxt packages, mainly because there's some changes that are not released yet. And I really wanted them to have them available already because there were some issues, for example, building a bigger site with Nuxt content. So maybe we can even have a look at it straight away. So let me, for example, quickly open this one in the browser and jump there and see what it's all about. So this one is about fetching the content chunked because there is lots of content on the side, and lots of those content is in one single file. So we have lots of files loading, and the problem was here that there was an issue that at some point the file system says, come on, we can't open that many files at once. And yeah, that's of course fixed by just chunking the whole content, saying, okay, look, we get the list of content we want to fetch, and then we just chunk and say like, okay, let's fetch every 10 files at once and then open the rest. So yeah, that's, I would say, rather straightforward, but still it was an important fix. It landed, as you can see already here, it is merged, but it is not released yet, which is why I decided to patch the package. There are a few more there as well. Like, for example, there is the Nuxt NVC package, which is used to render the markdown with the components. I think it's Nuxt modules. Yeah, there we go. It's super useful. It is used by Nuxt content under the hood. And yeah, I also had to patch this because of some PRs that were pending or merged and that were not released yet. So in this case, I'll just copy the URL real quick here. It was, oh, we had that already. But let's give this one a try instead. Here we go. This was for yeah, inline code highlighting, which was a little broken, and thanks to no BKD, it was fixed. But as you've seen, okay, yes, it's merged. The new MDC version was also released, I think, by now, but yes, here version 0.2.0, but Nuxt content didn't upgrade yet. So that was another patch I made here. And if we go back real quick to the code, there's one more patch, and it's actually, yeah, I patched the Nuxt package. And the reason is, well, I will show you very quick. Also here, pretty straightforward once again. There is some functionality which will eventually land in Nuxt, but is not ready yet because of underlying packages. So if we quickly switch here, that's a draft PR of mine. Because there is a problem with handling trading slashes and fragments. This should not be like solved directly in Nuxt, but in the underlying package UFO, which is there to handle everything regarding joining, pruning routes. So I made a PR here for that, which is still pending. And while that's pending, we wait a bit. I patched the functionality directly so I can use it because I enforce some trading slashes on the website. I want to ensure that this works properly for SEO. So yeah, I decided to just patch that myself, and as soon as the versions are released, then I can remove these patches, of course. All right, as I said, if there are any questions, please just drop them in the chat. I'm very happy to answer all of them, and let's continue with the code here. So yes, that is the README so far. Local setup, of course, you need node, pnpm, git clone, pnpmi, pnpm very straightforward. Of course, security issues, please report them not in the issue tracker. And license, I'm a big fan of licensing code under MIT because it's open source. The content itself, so the blog posts, everything written and also images, are licensed under CC BY and CSA, which basically means you have to attribute. So you have to say, okay, if you take that, you can take that, but you have to tell, oh, it's from this and the site, and provide a link. And NC means non-commercial, so you're not allowed to use it for commercial purposes. That's also kind of makes sense. Yeah, and then we have a big folder over here. And I would say let's jump straight away into the next config. Oh, before, a question from Crazy TV. How do you generate patches of existing PRs? Do the changes yourself and compare node modules, or use a script to get changes from PRs directly? So for the patches themselves, we can take a look at them straight away. In this case, because they're smaller patches, I indeed was just taking the code out. Like for example, here, I checked the PR and moved it over. In this diff file, it's very nicely seen. It's not that much that's changed, only the colored lines. So that works pretty well. For the Nuxt PR itself, for example, because it's not exactly the PR implemented, I wrote a little bit of custom code to do that. And I did that through pnpm's patch functionality. So you can use pnpm patch, and then you write a package, let's say Nuxt, or we can just do it straight away. Like just try UFO, for example. Then it says you can now edit the following folder. So in here, you basically have the package source code, hopefully not minified, but just plain old ESM. You can open that with VS Code, edit it, and then afterwards you can do npm patch commit with exactly that folder, not the one here because it's an old one. And after you committed that, it will create the patch file. You can of course also say, hey, let's check out the branch of that PR and like move the code over. That's also fine. But here, for example, I couldn't use TypeScript, of course, because it's already the bundled version. So it's ESM and no TypeScript, which is why you always have to adapt a few things here and there. But all in all, this was not that much work, especially because I sent in some bug fixes like the Nuxt content one on my own. I discovered it during building the website. So for me, it was a no-brainer. So like, okay, I figured out a solution, and as soon as I figured out, I just provided as a PR. So usually it was the other way around. But definitely, it was very useful to patch these things locally, and it's a very good strategy. Yeah, exactly. That's npx patch package and so on. There are lots of these functionalities indeed. PNPM has lots of them built in, which is one of the reasons why I like to use it a lot. All right. Yeah, let's have a look into the Nuxt config then. And here are also a few things going on. So some imports for Tailwind CSS plugins, we'll come to them a bit. Define Nuxt config as usual. Here my runtime config, very small. There is an interesting module from Harlan that basically says, okay, let's have a site config. So we have some values like the site URL, the name of the site or the offer. Actually, I'm not quite sure yet, but we can read it up. And if it has a trading slash or not, and all these like default values. So you have one single place to store them in your application, and then Harlan's modules use them through the runtime config. And I think it's a very nice approach to have one central place where you configure all these things. So yeah, that's what I have here. Then I have some redirects, of course. So my old support me goes to sponsors now because I changed URL. And timeline goes to about. So I don't have a timeline anymore, but a little text about myself. And yeah, then I wanted to add another redirect for my slides. I didn't do that eventually here. I did it in the redirects file. We'll take a look in a bit because these wildcard redirects like slides and then double asterisk to another URL is not supported yet. Hence, I created the issue. And right now it is still pending. If I have time, I hope I can create a pull request to actually solve this. So basically the whole idea, thanks for the follow. The whole idea was, yeah, to redirect anything after wildcard, like wildcard A, wildcard B, whatever, to like wildcard 2A, wildcard 2B, and so on, as described here. And that would be super helpful, I think. It's a very common thing to like, okay, I just change a prefix and no matter what comes after, it just goes over. Sebastian had the same idea actually, which is great. Also very, very closely to each other. Like, yeah, just a few hours after. And I hope there will be a thing in a Nitro and thus Nuxt very soon. Okay, going back to the code, yeah, we did it a bit differently, and now we check all the modules. Here is, I didn't pinpoint that, some weird excessive stack depth comparing some infinite recursion TypeScript. Let's see, maybe one day we'll figure out what exactly. It doesn't impact anything because the rest is still fine. So I just leave it as is for now. And yeah, we use Tailwind CSS, the module, because installing is super easy with that. View use, because yeah, you almost always need view use, right? And I will show you where I use that in a bit. Nuxt icon, a very, very, yeah, I think even underrated module, because if you need any kind of icon from any pack, then Nuxt icon is the way to go. Nuxt content for the content is pretty straightforward. Then 3 modules for SEO and OG images. So Nuxt simple sitemap for creating the sitemap, schema.org to generate the schema.org definition, and OG image for the OG images that are automatically generated. I think that would be something I could showcase right away. Let's see. Let's switch back to the browser and open the DevTools that are, of course, also installed here. So the OG images is really, really cool, actually. You have them here in the DevTools even. You can also just open the URL for that. And here you see, okay, this is generated based on a template I'll show you in a bit. And this will be generated eventually as SVG and PNG. So this is basically when you share the website, what image will pop up. And you can define them through CSS on your own. It's a little bit tricky because Satori, which is used to render the whole thing, doesn't implement the full CSS spec, but it's really worth it. And once you're up and running, it's really a no-brainer. Thanks a lot. Thanks. Yeah, I am glad people enjoy the website. It's quite a bit of time I put in there, but I'm also very happy about the result. Yeah, so that's basically the OG image package that works for, like, let's say articles here. Let's preview this real quick. We have that, and if we take, I don't know, what URL we take, like this maybe. Let's put it in here, the JavaScript beginner workshop. You see, okay, that works pretty well. Now you think, oh wait, that was a bit sloppy designed here. Yes, but no. That's what I meant with it can be a bit tricky. Come on, maybe SVG. Yeah, there it works correctly. So the template HTML is really nice to get like a starting gist of what's going on, but actually what really counts is the SVG or PNG is generated by Satori, because as I said, it has a little mismatch. But yeah, I will go a bit more in depth in that. Just want to showcase what the OG image module is capable of, and I think it's a really good one. Harn did a great job there. All right. Yeah, next image, of course, to get all the sweet performance gains and not starting to resize my images. I was also considering a service like Cloudinary, and eventually I went with Next Image because it was a little bit easier to go with it right away. It takes a little bit more time to generate the site, but all in all, because I pre-generate everything or pre-render everything, takes around 4 to 5 minutes to build it, which is not ideal, but at least then it's static, it's fast. And of course, you could also go the ISR route, but I wanted to start with the most simple setup, which is pre-generating or pre-rendering so far. And then Plausible, I use Plausible Analytics, and you know what? While we're at it, I'm very happy to give you a little insight of how it was going so far. So let me quickly log in to Plausible and then share the browser with you to see how things were going. Plausible, I self-hosted. I can very recommend it a lot. Yeah, and let's jump over. So that's Plausible, my instance, and I'm pretty happy about the numbers actually. So yeah, thanks to everyone who checked out the site, reads the articles, and yeah, I can't complain. Of course, lots of things like LinkedIn, Twitter, lots of people who have like direct, as in they don't pass the referral, which is more than fine, goes there. Also lots of traffic through the blog posts. So apparently lots of people looking for things that I wrote about, which is also great because I want to answer all the questions, right? And yeah, another thing is this domain. It's one of the Easter eggs or secrets. So you know Discord, of course. So if you switch it around, it's Discord. And if you switch it around, it will redirect to my website. Yeah, try it out for yourself if you want to. That works. I had a domain for ages now. Back even when Discord still had discordapp.gg and so on. And one of the things I haven't had time to implement yet, but I want to do is like a little banner or pop-up here if the ref is set saying like, oh, hey, you probably meant this URL, typos and so on. So yeah, there are lots of things that can be still done on the website, and it should be like a living project that I'll update every now and then. Also streaming some features to build here and there. So I hope it will be fun. I see quite some of you there. But yeah, going back to the stats, it's really nice. I added location stats quite late actually, so it's not very representative yet. And all in all, yeah, very happy. That's that. So let us have a look back at the code. The modules were explained now. One thing I do is I pre-render the feed.xml because I also chose to add an RSS feed again. My old blog, which is also gone by now because it's merged with that site you've seen, actually had a feed for every topic. I decided not to do that anymore and just say like, okay, if you want to read my articles, go for it. And if you don't want to read one, then skip over. That's more than fine. And yeah, the dev proxy is also set to proxy to newsletter because I have a little newsletter integration, which I will not show you today, unfortunately. That's maybe for another blog post or video or stream, we'll see. And this one is proxied. It's on a new URL on a different Netlify instance or different Netlify site, actually. Main reason, because this is fully pre-rendered. This can benefit of all the static goodness, and I wanted to have it separate, so I can ensure it's not strictly related. I don't know if this site is down or something, it doesn't work, then at least the sign up still works. And if you haven't seen it yet, yeah, the newsletter sign up is already there. If you go all the way very much hidden to the footer here, okay, let me quickly switch to browser only. Then you see here, down here is the first name, the email, and you can click on subscribe and join newsletter. You can also, if you want to, go to /newsletter. It's probably not online yet because, oh, it is, nice. Whereas little explanation about, oh, hey, in the end, the idea is just like show, oh, that's what I wrote, that's what I streamed, maybe some VODs or upcoming videos, and try to send it like every, I don't know, 14 days or so, just to catch up. I don't expect anybody to subscribe because they're like, oh yeah, Twitter and LinkedIn and YouTube and Twitch, and I know, but you can also just go for the RSS feed. That's really up to you, but there are only the articles in there. That's the only thing. Yeah, so that's the way to subscribe. Should work fine. If not, ping me. But yeah. All right, let's head back into the code. That's the dev proxy. So this is really what's only working in dev because I proxied it through the Netlify redirects file in prod. Actually, now we can have a look at that in public redirects. There it is. I did a few things. First, I proxied non-www to www. So this one. And also the Netlify app side, I have fully proxied over. Then I did, what I did before in the dev proxy, but here with Netlify. And then I did just one redirect, which I also could have done in the route rules, which would be better for that actually. And that's that redirects wise. In the headers, it's just very basic. Don't cache service worker, which doesn't exist anymore, but apparently for some people did. And the basic headers. So yeah, Plausible just provides the domain API host that you've seen already. Then we have the settings for the next content module. So we want to use document-driven mode. I don't use it throughout the whole page, mainly through all the content parts. So yeah, speaking, articles, topics, also not really workshops. That's it, speaking, articles, workshops, these three things. And yeah, my code highlighter is set to Vita's Dark, which is a lovely theme. And I added the remark reading time plugin to show these, X minutes read. I also disabled one plugin for external links because I want to handle them on my own, giving them their own rel attributes, and we'll have a look at that in a bit. And yeah, we go straight away to Tailwind, which is the almost last part in the config. It's a big one because I decided to add the partial of the Tailwind config here, adding the typography in the forms plugin, setting up my styles, which I import out of typography.ts over here. And then set, background size, 200% as a class, the background shift animation, which is, if you've noticed, I will show you that straight away. By the way, suggestion from Chriso, a friend of mine, it was a really good one. So if we go to the main page here and we hover over that button, you see it is moving. Maybe let me make it a little bit bigger. It's very subtle, but it works. There's like moving also the whole time, and that's that animation. I said very subtle, but noticeable, let's say. And yeah, the keyframes also belong to the animation, and then the Tailwind block is done too. Then we enable DevTools, which is always recommended nowadays. And yeah, that was not last week. That was just a new line add. And I say, hey, let's watch typography TS because there are all the typography styles for Tailwind. And when I change something, please reload the Nuxt config. Because the Nuxt config itself can't really figure out their own dependencies or its own dependencies. So you have to provide that if you want to reload. And yeah, here's basically just say what's for all the elements on the blog or articles or speaking page. And it's very powerful. You still stay in the Tailwind like design system universe from whatever colors you set and so on. So it takes, of course, a while to configure that, but it's really nice. Yeah. Okay. So in the Nuxt config, we're through here. We will have a look at the public for a little bit more, which is the robots.txt, just saying, oh, there's a sitemap. And that also is important, of course, for SEO, because you want to have a list with all the links that Google and other search engines should crawl, right? So also here, if you have a look, be careful, it's white. Yeah, you can't, you see, these are really all the URLs when it was updated last time based on the file, I suppose. Or actually, it's probably not on the file, but on a deploy. Doesn't matter much though. And what is also important, I decided to have a trailing slash. So every URL has a trailing slash. This is very important to be consistent there for SEO, so that Google doesn't index workshops with a slash and workshops without, for example, or this version here, this version there. So it's wise to start straight away, actually have either everywhere a trailing slash or no trailing slash. That's up to you, but stay consistent, and also ensure that when you link to a page from another source or also internally, that you stick with the trailing slash or leave it out. That's very important. Especially internal linking is something that's neglected very often, but it helps a lot to get your site properly ranked. And yeah, then we have some images, new images. Yeah, these are already all compressed, so they look a little weird. That's 512 to 512. You've seen most of them already. That's the original one. Also cropped, of course. And the one for the about page, yes. Then the image from the testimonial people we've seen a bit, and logos as SVGs for performance. You can probably also like prune them a little bit more. Might be a good idea to do that. And yeah, fonts, there are no fonts. I was thinking of adding Source Code Pro as a font because there's also the font of my logo, but then I decided it's fine with defaults, and I don't want to like load more than necessary. Okay, we went through the patches already. Let's have a look at the arrow.view and app.view. Arrow.view, Also rather straightforward. I should remove that unnecessary type import here. Just setting some body attributes because this is detached from the app.view. So I need to say, okay, hey, maybe make it black, and so on and so on. And then I'll just figure out the status code because in theory, the error here could be anything. It could be a next error. It could be, you could just do like throw 42, which you please don't, but it's possible. So I just say, okay, hey, if it's not an object, or if it's null, just go for 500 because no idea what happened, but that's not how it should be. If there's the status code in there, go for it. Otherwise, we are back to 500. Same for the message. We check if it's an object and not null, then we see if there's status message in there, log that. If there's message in there, check that. Otherwise, we go back to the unknown error part. Yeah, and then we just render that. That works for any kind of error, as I said before. Maybe if I provoke one like this, just putting in random garbage, we exactly get this page. Just saying error, which error, there's no message needed for that. I mean, of course you could provide one, but straightforward, or you can say, hey, and 4.4 say this page doesn't exist. It's fine. Then we go back to the home page and we're good. So that's the error page. There's one caveat though. If you use document-driven mode and put on the error page like that, it will not work straight away. The reason is because there's a catch-all page that comes with the document-driven mode straight away. So you have to deal with that. Otherwise, it might not work as you expect. And what you can, for example, do is you can either say like, okay, disable the document-driven mode on some pages like I did here too, or let's go to some here. I say on content not found, which is a util I built myself, and say, okay, then please set 4.4 and throw a fatal error here, just in case that whole thing doesn't exist. There must be 4 for me for sure. Well, yeah, well, from in a little bit on, I'm up for pull requests or issues. So that's your chance. Yeah, also here as a page, it's basically just a ref with any value. I don't care, just check if it's truthy. And if it's truthy, I don't mind. Then I say, okay, set the 404 to 400, set the response code to 44 if on the server side. If a pre-generate doesn't matter that much because it will be 404 anyway, if it's not a site that you built before. And then we throw that, and then we're fine. You can even add something like la 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 not found. Yeah. Let's check the app.view then, which is a little bit bigger here. Ooh, okay. We'll go step by step. We have script template style, as you know, so let's start with the script part. First, I get the site URL throughout the runtime config, how it's common, as well as the route, and I will build a canonical link. It's probably not needed anymore, because I also think one of Harden's module deals with that automatically if you say trailing/true. So still have to investigate it. Maybe let's just do a to-do check if still needed. Oops. Also canonical URL, while we're on it, let's switch to the browser and have a look at what that actually is. So yeah, error, of course, because of the 404 before. If you check the inspector here, I'll make it a little bit bigger there, and just, okay. We are in the head part, and here we have, hopefully, a canonical. There, link rel canonical. And with this, we basically tell the search engine, hey, this is the actual version of the site. Version as in with trailing slash, without trailing slash, without query parameters, for example, all that. So you just want to ensure to tell the search engine if, for example, they're on a site without a trailing slash, this is the one you want to crawl, not the other. So if you're on articles, for example, and you don't redirect from articles without a slash to the one with a slash, like here, you want to say, okay, hey, my canonical URL is articles with a slash. So Google would index this, but index this one instead. This one instead with a slash. Yeah. I don't know why it's removed here, but it will work. Yeah. Also here, one more SEO feature that's good to know if you're building a public site. If you build something behind authentication, you can totally skip that. That's fine. But it's worth to consider if you build your portfolio or your company's page or whatnot. And yeah, then we start with the use head part. Set the HTML attribute to lang en. Probably want to do this. Do that in nux.config.ts. Is a bit easier because it will most likely not change. Maybe also to change this for German content because I have some speaking gigs that are in German, so it might be worth it. Then just setting the title template saying, oh yeah, if there's a title, add that dash Alexander Lichter, and otherwise just print out the actual title, which is only used for the starting page or whenever you didn't set a title. Thank you for the follow. Thanks a lot. I see I don't have the alerts in here. I will quickly pull them in. Give me a second. Let's just do this real quick with a browser source. Alerts. Oof. There we go. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Now it's full screen. I will shrink that a little bit, just a little bit, and put it here. Much appreciated. Okay, and then yeah, setting the canonical, we calculated before. Setting the fav icon, which is the logo, and then setting some attributes for the body, which is also the ones we set in error. And then, very boring, I define the schema.org, define myself as a person with my address. You could all figure out because, well, it's not that difficult. I have a registered company that's also registered to my address, so hi. This is not doxing myself, but in a way. Yeah, name, the image that's located in a public folder, mail to, nationality, job title and whatnot, and then same as. I put in my socials, which we'll get to in a bit in the constants, Stack Overflow and whatnot. And then we say, okay, it's also a website and this is a web page. So get all the schema orgs in there. And then I use SEO meta or use SEO meta to ensure that author, OG site name, OG type are set correctly. I think maybe it would be good. Investigate to set title. Well, it's in app.view. It should be enough to not set a title here. It should be in a different in the pages files. But author is always the same. Site name is always the same. OG type is always the same. And then I do a little bit of loading here for cal.com, which is the tool which is used for the meeting schedules. Is the schema or content updated on route change? Yes and no. You can update on route change. I'm doing that actually for the blog post. Let's have a look straight away. So on here, it's just articles, not a blog post yet. We have the schema here, which just says, yeah, okay, website, web page, URL, image. If I go into one of the articles, or like I can also reload it because Google will always do a hard reload anyway. We go into the graph. We see a bit more. We actually see lots of things, like the actual name over here of the blog post. So yeah, that's updated. Works pretty well. We can also check with the, I think, rich result test on Google, but that's doing pretty nicely. It doesn't need to change on the SPA route, actually. I will double check if that's the case or not. But as Google is not like clicking on the links like a normal user, it won't be affected. They will always start a new initial request when crawling the site. So it shouldn't matter. That's also why you have use SEO meta. So here, yeah, you have still the description here. Sentry is a great tool, and so on, so on, so on, and the headline. So it will not update for that or be removed, but it's, as I said, it's not necessary because it's not displayed anywhere, and Google will always do like a hard refresh, quote unquote. So always do like a fresh instance when crawling your links, and not as we do now, click on them. So that's fine. That's also, by the way, one of the reasons why I use SEO meta is very helpful, because it will also do that only on the server. You can even do like if process.server and do that part, because if it's changed on client, it doesn't really matter for like sharing the link, for example. The only way where it matters is the title in your address bar, for example, or the fav icon. But things like the OG tags, if you change them on clients, nothing will happen. That's also why SPAs are not that nice when it comes to sharing them, like sharing links, because they don't have the OG tag set. So the crawlers from Twitter, Discord, Facebook, LinkedIn, whatsoever, they can't get them. And it will just be either the default tags that are set there, or nothing. But yeah, very good question. That's a good point. Yeah, and then as I said, cal.com, smaller script. I want to defer the loading. I have to check a little bit on that later on. Basically, what will happen is if we go back and say like, okay, here, schedule meeting, I will load a bit and load a bit. I know it's a bit slow and says in German because, well, I guess my accept language header is set to German still. Yeah, I blocked a bit of time every Monday. So if people are interested in scheduling a call regarding projects or whatnot, then they can choose 50 minutes, 30 minutes, and that will happen. And that's basically for that script. To trigger it, we do a little bit more, showing that in a bit off. But for now, this is just what's added in here. And then in the template, we have our navbar, we have our next page, and we have a little gradient hack for the icons, and then the footer, which is loaded lazily because, well, the footer is always below the fold, right? And the gradient hack for the icons is also really fun. Let me check that right away. So I have the icons here, right? And they have a gradient, obviously. Yeah, now I clicked on them, nice. But using Next Icon module and setting up a gradient is not that easy. Now I clicked on it again, I think, but that's fine. So what happens is, I tried like, okay, yeah, let's use BG club text, BG gradient to R and whatnot. But eventually I ended up with, I would say, an interesting solution. But the gradient for all the icons has to be included there. And let's check in the code why exactly. So this was the service preview component. Jumping in there, we have this icon gradient class here, there, and I defined it over here in one of the few scope style blocks I used, and say, okay, for all the fill attributes, for any kind of tag inside that element, not even the component, can be child components, in this case the icon component, this one, so we really go deep. That has path, and for path, the full attribute, it should be hashtag gradient svg icon. So basically manipulate the icons based on that component that comes somewhere along the tree, but only inside here, which is only the icon components rendered here. And I say, please, that should be the fill, and the gradient is what I have here. And because I don't want to load it per icon all the time, because also it's an ID, I add it here. Gradients get me out of the bed morning, yeah. Fair. Gradients are so powerful, and it's especially now with Tailwind, it's so lovely to work with them. Even if like have conic or radial gradients, it's a joy. With the next icon module, yeah, you have to do like a little hack, because what I used for the heading is for this super heading, I say, is really just here clip text and then a gradient. We can have a look at that in a sec. But that doesn't work with the SVG icons. That's the unfortunate part. Yeah. So as we are here done, yeah, like here's just, okay, it's the selection that's a little bit red, transparent. And then a line highlight. That's actually for code highlighting. I had to change a little bit here. But it's globally because it should be for every code highlighting. Don't necessarily have to have it scoped. Probably could put in the pros code component or something I have around, but yeah, doesn't matter too much. Oh, you know what? Maybe it doesn't hurt to do move to, what do we have? Content pros code, I guess. Pros code component. Yeah, nice. Typos everywhere. Question mark. Let's see. Okay. And we have that index page, which is, I know, quite big. Before we go on to all that, this is the super heading. Let's say I really call it super heading because it's a super big and nice looking heading. And I use this app paragraph component. It's not as nicely abstracted as I wanted yet, but I think it's a nice pattern. Saying, okay, I have a tag to render it and as like a P, H1, H2, and have a look that's decoupled from the actual semantics, which is always recommended. Of course, you can just say like, yeah, you can use text XL or whatever here. That's also totally fine. But if you want to reuse it, I think in a component, like it makes more sense, because then if you want to change it everywhere, just change it here or like in the component. Yeah, these, I would say, line comments or double slash, they're hidden on smaller screens, of course, because not enough space. So let's take a look at the app paragraph real quick. Also very nice feature. If we take a look at left at the sidebar here, I have everything under app, could be lower or uppercase, doesn't matter. And then all the things that I use throughout the app, same with like base or the or whatever, but you don't have to write the button every time. You have just one folder, but you have it in a nicely prefixed folder and know where to look at. And here, yeah, I would say it's kind of a nice pattern as well. All the styles, all the table classes saying super heading this, heading that, and so on. Default, just nothing. I set it as const, so I can actually infer the keys as a type by saying key of type of styles. Also, this will not change, so that as a const is fine. And then I set my props saying, okay, look, if not available, it's default, otherwise it should be a style. And also here, this, I can't just give in this, because I say, ASJDIOAS is not assignable to style. I think I should even have, yeah, autocomplete here. Yeah, and then setting a tag, default tag to P. I would not suggest using div, but sometimes that can be helpful, for example, in the OG image components. But yeah, usually it's not the way to go. That's why default is P, makes sense, nicely semantic, we're good. And yeah, here, as I said, font extra bold, transparent text, then very big, even bigger on bigger screens, then smaller than bigger. And then we use BG clip text because we want to apply the background color to text. We want to clip the background based on what the text is. And then we have the gradient that's set up here, which also resembles the one that's in the logo. Very, very similar. And yeah, that's the heading. Then a little bit text below, which is like the, I think, sub paragraph or something I call it. Yeah. So also there, similar style. Then the schedule meeting button. The button is also, it's interesting, and it's not that straightforward. I also told you already about the gradient here, but this one is what was a bit more difficult to make, because as some of you might already know, you cannot set gradients as borders in CSS. Of course, you can say like use CSS Houdini, then I Chromium only, I don't want that. So I had to use a little hack here. Let's jump to the button real quick, because I think here is, yeah, choose the component to render. Oh, we already button, perfect. So we have the styles pattern again. In this case, it's not just I had it like all in one line as before, but in this case, we might need more elements. So we have this Boolean says needs pseudo. It's not really pseudo elements that we use, but it's kind of the same like before and after. And the first one, you see, like, yes, apply the whole thing, use the like make the gradient bigger, and then animate it on hover with the classes I've shown before in the custom animation. And here, the secondary button, which is the right one, we have these pseudo elements. We have things for all. Then we say for the main class, give it a little z index. Then we have before and after to actually say, okay, look, we have this very nice background. And after we have just a black surface that we hide when the whole thing is hovered on, because we define a group around that. And it might look a bit confusing, but if we take a look at the template, maybe it gets better. Let's see. We have that here saying, okay, if needs pseudo, all right, no problem. Then we render a before, a main. If there is actually a main selected look, then yes, otherwise no. And then the after. If no pseudos are needed, we just render the text, whatever is given here. And yeah, then we have the content in here, the very nice border slash gradient background there. And here, the black solid color that's there unless you hover. And yeah, that's another thing. You can also provide a background color for that, because sometimes, of course, you don't want to use it just on a black page. If you take a look here, the About Me, we are on a fully black page, but what if you want to use that button somewhere here, for example? Well, you can only use that there if you provide a nicer background. Otherwise, the background in here would be black. Could work too, but yeah, not that nice. And then it's the same idea. Eventually, we also, it's very interesting. Most buttons are semantically links, of course, because you don't say like, hey, push that button and do some action, like, oh, schedule a meeting. Fair, but view all talks, about me, these are all links, so we resolve to app link. And app link is our own Nuxt component, which we'll check out next, or next. Then we say, okay, component is, we render the whole thing. If to is set, it's link, we don't need to set a type, otherwise we set a type button, which is very important, because you always want to set a type on your button and not accidentally submit some forms. Then we render the to if it's necessary for the link, and then the whole thing we've seen. Yeah, okay. Let's have a look at the link then. And this is a bit bigger than the usual link, but let me tell you, it's there for a reason. So first, we accept all the props. You could go like easy get away with like naive link the view. Let's do this. Pull the view component, but not script setup actually. Remove this part and just do export default define Nuxt link. And for example, say here trading slash append. Then you get a Nuxt link that works like a Nuxt link. And the whole idea is that you have always the trading slash, or you can have, I think the other one is remove, or you don't give anything like that. You can also set like different things like exact, active class. So you can style the links throughout your whole application. This is very lovely, but I had a few other things I wanted to do, and that's why this was not enough, but it's the base. So the other things are, I basically got the props, also including target rel and so on, because Nuxt link can also handle the external links, not only internal links. That's also a big difference to Nuxt 2. So I'll check the path saying, okay, prop2, props href or nothing. And then I stole this external function to check if it's an external link or not. It's from the Nuxt package, so didn't really steal it, but credits where credits are due. Then I say, okay, hey, please give me the props without rel and target because I want to set them on my own. I have some allowed domains where it's fine to pass in the ref, for example, the referrer. Then I say, if it's a domain exception, then do nothing. Otherwise, set no follow, no index, no referrer for the link. So don't spread all the link juice unless it's set there, or I override it, of course. And yeah, for rel, it's very similar, but here I either use the default rel here, which is based on that, or as I said, if I override it, there we go. And for the targets, also, if it's external, use blank. I know there are big debates about whether we should link all external links to a new page or not. It's tricky. In the end, I decided to do that. And yeah, also here it's overridable if you want to. And then in my component is here, just say it's a Nuxt link, bind all the props, bind rel and target. And then we're good. So it's basically all based on the Nuxt link that we defined over here with a little bit of props handling regarding rel and target. Yeah, and then we have a link back, which is very, very simple. It's just using app link and saying, okay, I have an icon and say, render some content. Also quite straightforward. This is usually used when we are in, let's say, speaking, and over here, say, go back to all talks and podcasts. So that will work. And then we have the meeting button wrapper. The idea here is that I use it in a few places. Meeting button wrapper, app meeting button wrapper, actually, yes. Because sometimes it's a button that you want to wrap around, but sometimes it's a specific button. Sometimes it looks different. So I decided to just build a wrapper that applies what we want there, just saying, okay, I give the meeting which is necessary to identify what kind of cal.com meeting I want to use. And I don't want to say like, okay, every app button has the option to take a meeting. So I just built that wrapper. And that looks the following. Let's go back to it. We'll take the meeting, which is a string. We take the slots. We render the default component. Of course, we get that. If it's not given, it's not good. Then we just do nothing. But we don't say like just render it. Here is a little bit of view magic. We say let's clone all the virtual DOM nodes from the slot. So basically make a copy of it. But we attach that data cal link here, which means take whatever's in the default slot, render the same, but add the data property. That's mapped to my username and props of meeting. And there we go. So I would say that's a kind of okay solution. It works as we've seen before, otherwise it wouldn't open. And that can help out in various scenarios by just adding some properties or classes even. Might write a blog post about it in the future. Let's see. Or maybe some other content. Yeah, then we have the next picture here, rendered in ultra-modern formats. Very important to make sure to properly render that in, especially now it's PNG, also in AVIF and WebP, because they're way smaller and most browsers can deal with them. Yeah, and from then on, it's really, okay, we have the button for the schedule meeting, we have the secondary button about or about me, depends. The me is scrapped when the screen is too small. And then we have the icons saying, okay, maybe it's easier to show in the browser straight away again. These icons here on hover, they don't have a pop over or anything, but they just have this. You can click on them, and of course the link is properly named so you actually know where to go. And these lead to topic pages. So for example, topic Next.js showing the workshops, articles, which are quite a bit, and talks and podcasts, which are even more in there. One day pagination is necessary, no doubts, but for now that's good. And yeah, these are also there if you, maybe not here, but also on an article, you have these tags over here and they're all clickable saying, oh, composition API, I want to learn more about the topic. Oh yeah, some talks and podcasts about it, great. Oh yeah, one article where I mentioned it, awesome. And there's a topics pages where you can see all the topics I mentioned so far. Right now, as we've seen, here is a little bit missing. Like, oh, topic API, yeah, what? Some descriptions are missing here. I want to add them in the future. So that's planned at least. Another task for then. Yep. So we talked about the icons here. We talked about that. The content divider is just a bit of CSS, not that interesting. Then we come to the workshops. They're all queried by Nuxt content. And we can take a look at that as well to make sure we query that very nicely. Here we have latest articles, latest speaking, latest workshops. We limit them. We say, I don't care about the body or excerpt. So the payloads are small. We basically need the title, the path, the description. And we also sort by some dates to make sure the most are like up to date articles and talks are shown, and the workshops on the start page should be on the start page. Yeah, and then we come back to the template once again. From here on also, this is all lazy, because if we really go back to the browser one more time, we see this is above the fold, right? And also on mobile, if we go to, I don't know, the iPhone SE, this is above the fold, more or less. So we don't have to load the service preview, which is the icon thingies here already. We can do that lazily. Yes, because we don't need it at all. So that's also a bit performance win to load this lazily, the workshops lazily, and so on. It would not be a big win to load the button lazily because we use that above the fold. That's also rule of thumb. Everything you use above the fold, don't load it lazily. Otherwise, it will actually harm your performance. Yeah. Then it's content. Let's check the code one more time. Say, okay, here we go. Another section, another paragraph decoration, which is also lazy loaded. Workshops, all right. And we have these previews here for each content part to showcase them. Same for articles. We have a little bit of still TypeScript, let's say problems, but mistakes in here because I did not manage to set up ESLint in TypeScript yet. That's also something for after open sourcing, mainly because I wanted to get it done first of all and then improve. It's not the way you should do it in your project, but I think exceptions are okay. So yeah, content, and then we're good. I think one other thing that could be very interesting, the server folder. Let's take a look at the feed, for example. This is also okay. Let's generate the block feed, set it to application XML, and return feed.rss2. And the generate block feed is in utils feed, and credits to Harlan because I got it from his open source side there. He did a great job there, and oh, nice. Apparently, that TS error is gone already because it finally found the types, but there's another one popping up now. I will probably do add TS expect error. Come on. Whoops. To do fix ts0. Okay. And here, what is happening is you set up your feed because the feed module is not NUX3 ready yet. Shame on me. Yeah. Write a few things, set up the OG image URLs and so on. And then let's get all the content from the articles and then loop over it. If it's the articles index page, which I don't have, but just in case, let's ignore it. Then we actually fetch it with $fetch because then we get the HTML. Then we use Cheerio to load it into get our prose part here. And then we remove all attributes from all elements, strip them all, and add them in. And that will give a nice and wonderful feed. Yeah. So RSS feed is also checked. That works. Let's have a look at maybe the consulting page, for example, and check how the OG image stuff works. I think that could be very interesting too. In here, I first of all said title and description, of course, to reuse them. I say we don't use document-driven mode here because there's no document for that. They say define OG image, and I set a component and then some props. The components is based on components and then either OG image template or OG image. That's both fine. As I said, it uses the OG image module from Harlan. And yeah, and here the general one, for example, is like, okay, we use inherit address false just in case because it can mess up with the Satori parser. Then I define the gradient style because I reused that multiple times, I thought, not anymore. Well, can you light it at least? And set up the props that will be passed, so the title. Then I ensure, okay, if the title length is longer than 30, I use a little smaller text size. So I don't want it to break that much. But that's fine. And then you just define it with Tailwind, very classic. There are a few limitations though. For example, here you see that this is not pointing to my actual domain, but an image subdomain. You're not only allowed to use absolute URLs here. And I don't want to get into the like hand and egg problem. Like, oh yeah, I will update the image, but it's not there yet. So I have to kind of deploy twice. I don't want to do that. Also, Tailwind support kind of works, but it was a bit wonky. So I decided to just use inline styles here. It's not what you should do in your web application, but for the OG images, I would say it's okay. Also, I had to apply some interesting hacks like -6 RAM here for the margin top because the lower line was not rendering correctly for whatever reason. And if we take a look at what that actually means in the context of the consulting page, we will open that in the browser. So consulting here. And how about we do it in localhost? That might be a bit better. I can just click here. Takes a little longer locally. That should load way quicker actually. Not sure why. Let's just quickly refresh the page. Yeah, nice. It's there, but let's wait for next in that case. And then once again, we can open the DevTools and check out the OG image, how it looks like. There we go. Alrighty. Come on. Errors in the console. Yeah, Nux DevTools client injection failed. I noticed. That's true. Let's try it again. You can do it. For some reason, it's not possible to reject them, but it's okay. Then we'll just do a little trick here. We go to OG image, og.png. I think like this. Let's see. Or we can also, worst case, showcase that here while the page is loading. We go to the page source and we have exactly this one here and load it. And we see, okay, this is the result of it rendered as PNG through Satori. Satori, I can also showcase that real quick, is exactly library to convert HTML to CSS to SVG, PNG, and so on then, because from SVG to PNG is not that far. And as also here mentioned somewhere, it's re-implementing certain features. Of course, it's meant to be used with React and JSX, but nobody says that if you copy the vnodes, it can't be used for Vue either. And Harlan made it possible with the Next OG image module and put in quite some work there, which is this one. Let's go to documentation. And here we go. So yeah, it's very lovely. I probably should submit an example here to the live examples. PR welcome. Please submit the PR to your own. Why not? Yo. So we have this, but it becomes very interesting if we actually take a look at other OG images. Like let's go for the speaking URL, for example. Let's go for this one, for example, here. Let's take this, put it in here. And so this is a different image, of course, and we have a bit more information here. We have some topics passed in, the hashtags, right? We have this read string and that updated at. And the best part is, let's take a look at what happens in the component for this, which is the article component, I think, yes. So also here we have the same as above, gradient style, props, title length. The interesting part is somehow when you copy the vnodes, the props, the area of the props is duplicate. So what you had to do is take topics, slice them by just a half, and then it will work. And it will look very weird the first time you do that in your code, and people might ask like, oh, what is going on there? Why are things happening? This doesn't make sense. But it actually does make sense when you render the SVG or PNG. And I had no idea why that's the case, but it happens. So let's see if I can actually show that to you on localhost 3000 now, after the application is booting up. That looks better. Let's go back to the browser. And let's go to, let's say, articles. This one here, the newest. Also, so many people ask about the Sentry module. Here's the answer, in case you haven't seen it already. And if you go to OG image here, the HTML will look like, oh, only 2 tags, but here are 4. How does that work? Why? Weird. If you render the SVG, it's there correctly. And now you might think, okay, why is that the case? And the answer is, I don't know. Didn't have time to look into that. I did my job though, or underneath job, the duty as somebody finding that, providing a reproduction, putting it in, explaining what's happening. So that maybe in the future, maybe somebody else can look into that and say, okay, this is an issue. And for everybody who encounters bugs, it doesn't matter what kind of bugs, but lots of times like, oh, the framework is doing something wrong, which can happen. It's very encouraging to provide a proper reproduction, which means just start up a new Nuxt instance, almost like I did here. Like I used Harden's Nuxt OG image template, but if you are like, okay, something doesn't work with the framework or with a module, it's really fine. Just pull in the module in a new instance and you're good to go. And then actually showcase what's happening. Explain like why things are broken. Like for example here, it's about. Nice. Okay, it doesn't even render anymore. That's interesting. Because before, as shown in the screenshot, it was properly rendering. So maybe I have to update that. But as shown here, and it was not an about, it was on the main page. This was the let's say, broken part. And of course, explain, okay, check this, this should work. Give a very simple introduction of how you can actually fix or reproduce these things. Fix would be easier, of course, but just like, okay, install that module, open there. Please don't pull in your whole project because nobody wants to go through all these files. Like, just imagine, if we go back to the code, just imagine me saying, oh yeah, I have a bug in that application. It's not that big, right? Still it's there. If I open this component, something weird is happening here, and that component has other dependencies, and no. And the best part is, when you do that, you don't only make it easier for maintainers, you also, in most cases, will find the issue why the bug is there. Because very commonly it's like, yeah, but if I create a new Next instance and do what I want to do, it works. And then the problem is not on the framework or the module, the problem is usually on the userland code. So then you can actually start debugging it and finding it out, which is even better because then you don't have to wait until anybody will like fix it for you. Or you don't have to dabble into the module. You can just like, okay, it's a my logic, it's fine. Yeah, we can also take a look. I think that's one nice last thing to do is on the article page, which is here. So we use the document-driven mode here, and it's super useful. So we use content. It's the composable for the document-driven mode. We put the page into the next and previous one because we use further down. And here, once again, on content not found, please render something like an error page. Then we actually put in the SEO meta. We don't even need this here because if you use document-driven mode, it will do it automatically. So we can probably remove this. Do we need this here? Because let's take a look at the article MD for a second. Let's say the Sentry recipe one here. Here you define title and description. They are used straight away for the OG information. Oops. So you don't really have to set up the use SEO meta here. Then what was mentioned before from 4 tracks, use schema.org for the actual article with a description, they published, they modified. It's also to do, I'll probably write this in issues after the stream when it's open source. That I want to add a tech article here too, because not just an article, sometimes a tech article. So that, and I do something which I always advise people with a blog to do, and not that many people do it actually. If you go to speaking here, if you go to articles here, if you take a very old article, let's say sending emails for Next 2, and click on it, you see this. Attention, this post hasn't been updated for more than a year and could be outdated, right? And this is a warning, so people know like, okay, maybe it's still up to date. I can decide on my own, but it might not be the most recent one. I didn't update it for quite a bit because, well, Next 2 is nearing end of life. Nothing will change that approach, and most people look into the Next 3 way of doing that anyway. So soon for new article soon. But I think that's automatically generated, right? As soon as the publishing date is older than a year, it will pop up. Actually, not the publishing, the updated date. So even if we have like this one, here it doesn't pop up because I modified it very recently and said, hey, this article is written for V2 Next 2. And for V2 Next 2, it is still up to date. If you're looking for the Next 3 V2 version, check here. Yep. And also linking back from the other one. Same idea. If you update it and say like, okay, this is for this version, it would be fine. It's something different. But I really wanted to state that very clearly. All right. Back to the code. And yeah, here we check the is older than a year. And then we format some things through format date string human rebel. All right, the created at or the published and the modified. Then we use the site URL and we create the link to the current page based on the site URL and the path. The whole idea is I wanted to have them for sharing, for example. So you can share on Twitter or X, however you want to call it now. You can search for them for discussions, which is super helpful. And also edit the page on GitHub very soon. Actually, I have to fix that to be still this, not the old repo. But before it was working pretty nicely. Do I use the edit on GitHub right now? I do. So, you know what? Let me just make sure this is actually working as intended and try it out. If we go to a page all the way down, let's see. Here, edit on GitHub, and it's opening as it should be. Awesome. That's great. Then just making sure it's the actual URL now. Then we can go live or open source. And then of course, copying the link to clipboard, a little function here. Then I have to investigate a bit more. Somehow next and previous coming from the document driven mode also rendered other things than articles or speaking content, so on, like not articles for articles, but also speaking content for the first and the last one. In a way, it makes sense, but it's not sure if it should be like that, so we'll check. And then, of course, the OG image again. And then we use the next content doc. Make sure, okay, if it's older than a year, show it. Show the article H warning and put the padding a bit higher. And then in here, all the content lies with the table and prose text, so the styles will be added. And then we have the all thing below, like, okay, please share, originally published ad, and so on. So if we have a look, that it says, yeah, tweet this article. If you click on it, you can tweet it. You can copy the link, which works very nicely. So it says copying successful, which is great. The discuss link is also very helpful. I think right now for the older blog post, it won't be leading to anything because they had a different URL. They had blog.lichter.io. But if we check this on a newer one, like this one, this is, I think it's a really cool feature. And for real, okay. Let me log in. Yeah. Here, as you see, refuse, it actually shows up the post about that. So you can find and discuss all these things there. And I think it's super helpful if you're like, okay, what did other people talk about regarding the post? Any other opinions? It's a nice idea. And then a little bit of me, of course, and then the things that could also, of course, improve, like, oh, further articles. You can maybe even think like, okay, take the topics from above here, search articles from there, and suggest them. But yeah. Okay. And of course, it's also lazy because way below the fold. Also, as I said before, if there are any questions, please drop them in. I'm very happy to answer all of them. If I can't answer them right away, also if it's not related to the website, please, I'm very curious to understand what's on your mind. I think from here, let's just save this once again. Work in progress. Most of my commits look like that actually. And now I think I will quickly move the content over. So I will move that content from the Playground repository into the actual repository, and then we'll make a PR and I will go live, like live as an open source. So let me very quickly do that. Because I was thinking about suitable ways of, okay, how does it work the smoothest? But I think bringing over tons of work in progress commit history is not very feasible. So I decided going that way instead. Okay, let's copy everything except the node modules. You will not see that much right now, I know. But bear with me. Okay, let's remove everything except the Git or a folder. That might make sense. That would not be a good idea to remove that. And then copy over all the rest. And then let's open the new file. And well, that's good to go. That was smooth. All right, let's quickly change the code window to the proper one, which is this one. And maybe let's do a little cleanup because I think it's not fully there yet. This can go. And that example can go because we don't have stripe anymore. That's all fine. That's all fine. The rest is good. README adapted. We can go to package.json and check. We probably can remove at types scroll reveals from the old one, which I didn't purge before. We need the rest for sure. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Probably jump to 66600, which is the proper version now. And then we have lots of things changed, a few things deleted. Yeah, legal and privacy can go. The speaking page can go. Why didn't I delete this part? That's strange. No, speaking page can't go. That's correct. No, it's not correct. It needs a folder. There we go. Support me in timeline can also go, and then all the legacy should be gone. Here we updated all the things, the testimonials and logos, and yeah, I think we are good to go for the launch. Composables and directives and layouts might also go. That's one more thing. Everything that's not touched. The router options, they are fine. They should be okay. I'll quickly double check, but I think I also copied them over. So there, because that's very nice for smooth scrolling, and that, yeah, should be the same. Okay, that's not there because I didn't run pnpm dev yet. Then should be fine. All right. That can go, that can go, that can go. I have a few components I still have to clean up. Everything that's basically not changed here yet. So also sorry for the Windows sounds, I know. And yes, I am indeed using Windows and WSL. Unless I'm traveling or going for workshops or whatever, and I tend to use a MacBook, but streaming works pretty well in the setup here. Okay, that's fine. The rest is good. If there's anything else, well, I mean, it's all open source in the end, so we can just clean it up. And then we'll say, it's probably feature release, open source new v6, well, v6 of the website. Okay, let's commit. for real. That changes. What changes are there? Oh no. No, we skip the rebase. Yeah, I don't think that's relevant. Let me quickly check in the browser what change was there. I honestly can't remember. Probably just updating talks or something. Let's see. Let's check the browser. Core minor updates. Yes. Oh yeah, Amsterdam, Netherlands. La la la. Sure. Headshot. Yes. Okay. I think that can go. If this is the one missing. All right. Quickly double checking. Update talks 4 months ago. And okay, add more talks. That it's also fine to not have that in there because they're all somewhere already. Okay, you know what? Let's do that. Let's just do a force push. And it's done. It is there. It's open source. For everybody you've followed along already, you know most of the content anyway. I think we can probably renovate. We'll close all of them then in a bit. And I will go through these and maybe I will do this straight away. Just close some of them. Add side projects is still something I want to do actually. So outdated issue, not planned. And yeah, that's, we also don't need this one. Well, maybe in the future, who knows, but not right now. Error handling of the API is done nicely. That was for Stripe back then, not needed. Don't need a PayPal button. That's also okay. No time anymore. Goodbye. And weird visuals. Thanks a lot. I've updated. Oh, updated my site fully now, so this should not be an issue anymore. Much appreciated though, the people writing actual issues there. That's very lovely. Okay, now we'll add here all the things I want to do in a bit. So yeah, it's out here. I think I will do one more thing, which is probably setting up the image real quick. The social preview image actually. Which should be just the classic one that's also coming up when I go on the site. Just save that real quick to the PC and put it on there. Gmain and edit, upload, or Gmain. Let's go here. Yeah, I think that's better. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. Yeah, I think the rest is fine. Awesome. So now we still have a bit of time, which is great. Crazy. It's already like over 1.5 hours. And we will do, let's build a feature. Let's build a nice feature for that. So let's say building a new feature for a website, and straight away open sourcing it as well. So yeah, one thing I was thinking of, right here I have the GitHub button, right? That just goes to the GitHub. But what if we could have something there showing when I'm on air or not? So when a stream is running, and yeah, building something that checks every, I don't know, a couple minutes if something's on, or not. And we can do that, I think. So is it possible to do it in an hour? Could be. We'll see. I would say let's get it on. The thing is, we start with Twitch API. And we say, let's say get streams. So we get streams info maybe. Let's see. Out of it, this was a discussion. Here, let's try this one. There should be a streams endpoint somewhere. Getting videos, creating clips. No. Event sub. Event sub could be also helpful, but I rather will not go that way. Let's say get videos, live streams once again. Okay, you can get videos for the user. It makes sense, but we don't want to get the VODs. We actually want to check if a stream is online or not, right? Get stream info. Maybe better read the discussion, doesn't hurt. Let's say yes, makes sense. Okay, get streams. Here we go. Yeah, this is what we want. We want to get a stream for a certain user. Well, can't see it that much, but for a certain user login. And then we get all the info. What I was thinking is maybe we can do the following. We can create a little GitHub action, actually. And the GitHub action, that could run with a cron, so maximum every 5 minutes, more like every 10 or something, which is fine. And fetch these information, because apparently you need an app access token, user access token or a user access token for that. So of course you could also have like something running the server, but maybe GitHub action could be nicer. And I did something similar already for a project of mine, which is this one here. Do I have? No, there. Yeah. We did something similar to fetch a URL every now and then. So let's use this. And also this is forked or like used from based on another fork, but it works. It's also GitHub action that runs every, well, couple minutes, as you see. Not like exactly every 5, and like every 10, every 20, something like that. That's enough. And if you want to, you can probably also trigger that GitHub action manually. So why not? Why not giving it a try? So let's get maybe back to the code. And I think, that's here we go. Better. Maybe let's leave this this one real quick and open a new one. Let's say make directory lichter.io Twitch stat, just Twitch. I think that's fine. I'll be right back. Just have to open the new window. And set it. Yeah. And we will go to this one. Okay, so plain. PMM init, very straightforward. And here we are. So we will need the API key later on, of course. And maybe, well, what else do we need? We need what I want to install is ofetch for sure, and GT with one eye. So GT is a very nice package to just execute TypeScript straight away, a bit like Node.js, or TS Node, I think. And ofetch is just a nice fetch API wrapper. So let's do that. Let's copy my author from before. Let's do it MIT because why not? Why not do an MIT? And let's create a new file, like say source main. And here the things will happen. Probably also need an example file and .env file that I will not show you. Like now, yes, it's empty, but later on I won't. Really hope so. Otherwise, it's reroll time. Okay, so then let's say, as we did in the other one that you don't know yet, we will have a latest JSON file, which we will import and compare. So here will be the state, which can be name of the stream, whatever view account if you want to. And if there's no stream running, then it's empty. And the idea is we want to refresh that every couple minutes. And yeah, we can do that, I hope, in a bit. So let's import that latest from latest JSON as this assert syntax I'm still not used to. Assert type JSON, yes, this. Okay. Get that, so we can log that and compare it at some point. We maybe want to say for now skip check, which is also from the project from before, just saying, okay, is skip check is set. We don't want to actually write something, this is just for testing purposes, and also we want to add types node to actually have that properly typed. Okay, let's have a look in the browser real quick again, because let's check what we need to do for the Twitch data. So we will see here. Okay, we have this. We need the viewer count. We need the title type if you want to. Game name not that important. The rest is rather clear. Thumbnail URL is not that important either. I think we go with title, viewer count. Started at could be nice too. Maybe let's start it at 2. So let's just copy it over and see. This is the result we want to get, right? This is what we want to retrieve in the end. So this, or let's do type Twitch data. We get this. We don't care about that. Thumbnail URL maybe. Let's see. Why not? Make it string for now. Language doesn't matter. Started at is also string. ISO date apparently. Viewer count is a number. Tags is a string array. Yeah, why not? Title is a string. Type, we don't need a type, and the rest can go. Awesome. We have our Twitch data. Now what we want to do is yeah, thanks Copilot. What we want to do is technically get the access token we probably need, because it's overflow via client ID secret. Let's see that in a bit. Then what we want to do next is get the data for the stream, compare current and latest, override latest. We don't even need to compare. Well, it makes sense to compare. Commit changes if changed, and then commit changes through the GitHub action. So we actually commit them as a bot, as GitHub action bot. Okay, that's the plan. We have async function, get access token, and we probably need a client ID and client secret. And both are strings, something like that. And probably also need async function, get stream data, and I guess client ID and access token. And we'll see. What we want to hear is promise string in the end, and here's promise. Well, we want Twitch data. Okay, these are what we want to do, and let's check that out. Let's start with get stream data because this is what we already know of. I'll copy the example from the example request over here. So what's this? This is curl. So shouldn't be too big of a deal to like move this, move this over to fetch call. Also, it's a get request, so that's nice. But let me quickly double check. Yeah, okay. We'll probably need a full request with this here. So we do const result equals await $fetch, and we do this URL. We don't use the user login yet because we use the query parameter here. Also, we need to import fetch from $fetch from ofetch first. So used to the auto imports. Okay, then we can use the query params here to just say user login is user, we say Twitch username, because we want to hard code them maybe here. Const Twitch username is, well, not the Afro Kid, not the Alpacalypse. Still, it's the Alpacalypse is a good name. That's really good. But still, we need the const Twitch client ID, and we will not fill that out, but we say process the env dot Twitch client ID. If you want to, or empty string, and we need a secret also as an empty string for now. We also want to do if not Twitch client ID or Twitch client secret with a nice double R here. There we go. Console.error missing Twitch client ID or secret. We can exit it. It's fine. Maybe we should also consider Twitch client ID. Yeah, but don't render it. Dot length and then do like is set or is not set, something like that. Okay, that's good enough. And we do the same with the secret. So to check and have a look like, okay, what is set, what is not set. Good. Okay, we have the username and we need probably, oh yeah, the headers. Headers are authorization of the access token, the client ID, that's as here, and then we're good with this. Okay, if this will throw, it will throw, that's fine, we'll handle that somewhere else. And now we say, yeah, if it doesn't, well, if it's not there, we'll throw as well, because actually it's not right. If not result data length, then we can just return undefined, or let's return false. Let's actually handle, let's return undefined for now. Add it over here. Okay, preach data undefined, that's fine. And now we return const stream is result data 0, so we can just do this bit of destructuring here. And then we return the proper info. Like, can we do const title? Yes, this. We do viewer count. But we name it. Started at. We also. You know what? We'll don't care much about camel case in this case. Because it should be the original data, so that's a valid exception. And the thumbnail. Yeah, you know why? Why not? Why not? We also define it over here. Okay, and our function is done here. We get a call. We can't test it yet, but we will. So that looks pretty okay so far. Now the access token part. Let's head back to the docs and check how to actually get the access. Probably like the client. Yeah, some ground flow here. Because they're usually, it's an OAuth token. Okay. We need a client credentials ground flow because we have server to server API, which is correct. What else do we need? we can check, okay, yes, example of the flows. This is what we need. Okay, so we do the same as before. Const result is $fetch. We have this, and we do method post. Very good. So this can go. We need form data here. It's okay. With form data with fetch is a bit trickier, but we can do const body is is new form data here. We can do this. Then we say body.append what we need. Yes, clever. So, and then we can just say we use the body. We don't have to set any headers. Fetch will do that for us. If we set headers, we have to ensure that we also set all the necessary headers, not just the form encoding. So I prefer just going that way. And now we can say we should probably await it. Yeah. Did we wait it down here? Yeah, good. And now we say return result dot access token as string. I'm just wondering, we don't even have to cast it, right? So yeah, of course we don't know, but if it's not there, it should throw already. It should give us any other kind of mistake. So, okay. We have these two functions. Let's do the other parts. Let's compare the current and the latest. Let's override latest of change and let's commit the changes. Committing changes, this is actually done by GitHub Action. I know from the previous project that I was using. So that is luckily not that important to us. What I was thinking in the meantime, maybe we should do a little try catch around that and just say like, hey, where does it fail? Like here, up better, and just say like, maybe just stop it here straight away because it's an action anyway. So process exit 1, which is failure, and say console.log. Yeah, error getting access token, perfect, and do the same. Forget stream data, maybe wrap it around here. Try. You could also just append a catch there too. If you do process exit, it doesn't matter. But then we definitely know the result will be as we expect, which is great. Okay, let's have a little run function. So probably, yeah, it doesn't hurt to have like a little immediately invoked function. We could also write it a bit easier and just say like run.catch. And then have like, no, don't import all these things, please. This is not necessary. Do like async function run, which is our main function, so to say. And here we just say like, yeah, this is basically our handler for unknown error, sad face. And in here we do all the things. So let's get our comments all together once again, because this is what we need. And this. Will you? Oh, sorry. I will switch to VS Code, of course. Oops. Good point. Okay, reiterating over that. We're getting the stream data. Here we had to try and catch together. That fits. We have the get access token. Now we put in the comments here and do exactly that. Get the access token. Await get access token with client and secret. We get the access token here. We get the data from stream, which is stream data. And we also have latest as well. This will be JSON though. So we should think about, if you want to compare that, we probably also want to JSON stringify stuff. Which means, yeah, well, let's give a look. But technically, we have the stream data here, which is probably like raw stream data. And then we have the data, because this can still be undefined. So let's have raw stream data or an empty object. And then we can say const stringified data and just stringify that for a very simple reason to compare it. And now we say if const did change, if stringify data and latest are not the same, then it did change. So we say if, first of all, if skip change is a good point. If skip check, we ignore that, skipping the check. But we can log, console log new data is stringified new data. Then we know that things happening. Great. And I think then if, yeah, nice, great. If it did change, otherwise did nothing. So if it didn't change, then we say like, yeah, what is down here, stream data didn't change, which is fine. We can just stop here. It's okay. We don't have to do things. We don't even have to log it. We just say like, okay, it's fine. You can just even do return. Don't even have to call process exit one even here, because it's the run method, right? It's over afterwards anyway. And then we do otherwise, maybe do like console.log. Let's do like a comparison or something, or like just show the latest data and the current data, or new data is also fine. And then we do write new data, I guess. Write new data, stringify data, which is, this is probably the easiest part with, because we just say, okay, look, you know what, function write data, write new data, and content is already a string. We do not deno, but yeah, write file sync latest JSON content, write file sync, please, not file, and we import it here. And I think that could work already. Now though, I will switch to my face because, oh wait, we can switch the browser for a second at least, and we will check if we can get the tokens. But that should, well, let me just have a look real quick, but it shouldn't be too difficult because there's the dev console. Having to put in two-factor authentication. Okay, let's see. That's the best with a new profile. Authorize, yes. Your console, okay. All right, let's set up GitHub action, update, live status. Okay. And we're good to go. Okay, I will share the browser now again. So, wait. Now, there we go. Don't want to leak any secrets. So we set up our GitHub action live status here. Localhost, we don't have any auth redirects. Website integration, we take the client ID, which is fine. But the secret down here, which is confidential. Okay. So now I really want to copy over the end variable. So give me a sec into the end file. That would be good at least. The secret here. And the client over here. And very quickly close that once again. And leave that in the example file. So we are back on the VS Code. Twitch client secret. And now let's just run it. Let's just do pnpm jitty source main and see what happens. Not set. It's true. We didn't set it yet. That's right. That's a very good point, actually. We did not set the end variables. So, you know what? Maybe let's just do it very quick. Let me export them. Because I don't think I can do source.env and pnpm GT. That will not work. So maybe with export, that should work fine. Export Twitch client ID, export Twitch client secret. Not the nicest way. We could also integrate .env and so on, but let's not overdo it. Okay. I export into my console. Let's do clear, clear, clear. And we're back in here. And now we run them. So we do pnpm GT source main, which you can barely see. Maybe let's collapse this one. There we go. It worked. Great. So now in latest, we actually have this. We have the title, open source launch party building a new feature of the website. We have the tags. We have the thumbnail URL where we have to replace width and height. Started at, wow, that was quick. Now the only thing we have to do is we have to publish it. Of course, we have to do to publish it. We have to create a repo for it. We have to, probably we'll do next the workflow. Because we still need to set up the GitHub action. So let's do GitHub workflows. And I will just, you know what, I will just take them from the old project I used before. So let's see. I'll quickly copy paste them. That might be the easiest. D2 Arsenal. Workflows. So we have check and skip. Okay, that's fine. Let's take the, let's do check for, or not, for new status.yaml. Put them in here. That's the old one. And we have skip check for new status.yaml. Okay. We have these. And let's work with them. Check for new Twitch status, skip check, true. Actually, you know what? Maybe we ignore the skip check part because it doesn't hurt. Yeah, let's go with the check for now. Maybe we don't even need a skip check. Check for new status. This works for now. Check for new Twitch status. Yeah, we do every 5 minutes. What we'll do is, yeah, we do checkout, we sell install node, we do 20x, not 10x, 20x. PNPM install frozen log for proof offline is fine. Check for Twitch status update. PNPM start, we still have to add that to our package JSON. That script start is GT source main TS. Pretty straightforward, actually. We don't netlify hook, we don't build anything. Skip check, we don't need to set it at all. Then we filter. Yes, that's correct. Commit latest status. Committed. We can remove this part and put a new Twitch or sure new Twitch status. Okay. Let's do a little git init because I think we're very close to putting up the action. Then we just have to integrate it. That would be really fun if we could make it work. Let's put in one more thing, which is .git ignore, because I don't wanna, you know, .env production node modules. You don't wanna commit these, so that's fine. That should be enough. Git init. It's init. Yeah, no anything there. That's perfect. Init. Let's publish it to Lichter.io Twitch status checker. Twitch status. I don't know, something like that maybe. Okay, that's done. We are not done yet though. That's the other thing. Because obviously we still have to set our env variables that we set in the console for our GitHub repository. So I think I will just switch back to the camera for a second and do that. Because once again, I'm very sorry, but I can't expose them to you. Though you know what, I will at least show a little bit of how that works. So in here we have secrets and variables, and we go for actions. Then we say new repository secret. And I mean, we can do the Twitch client together, I think. Because that's the not so problematic part, let's say. The trickier part is the secret, of course. The client ID is fine. You saw it on stream already. So we can do this and edit. That's fine. And now I'm very sorry, but I have to switch here to add a secret. Twitch client secret. You know what? Just in case, I'm not paranoid, but just in case, I will re-roll it. Because I also think it could be that Copilot leaked it before. Who knows? So I added it. It's fine. And we are back here. Okay, it's in there. Oh, damn it. I added it to the wrong repo. Okay. I'm sorry. I have to undo all that again because it was to the actual website repository and not to the Twitch status repository. I'm very sorry. Bear with me and we'll do it straight away again. Okay, but the procedure is the same. We do Twitch client ID. We put it in. We add a Twitch secret. Put that into. And okay. Okay, we have our first run of the init action already, which makes sense because, oh, we have an error in our YAML file. True. Good point. Good point. I will quickly fix that because there's a colon after chore and it's not allowed to have a colon after chore. It even highlighted there. So fix YAML error or something like that. Let's see. Yeah, this. So just wrapping it parents should be enough. Can we rerun this now? Probably can. Check for Twitch status. No, we cannot rerun that. Because, yeah, that makes sense. Once again, because here in schedule or on schedule, we say, okay, please do that every 5 minutes, right? And it will happen only based on that. It will not happen later or earlier. And like, yeah, it can vary for a few minutes, but we cannot trigger it through a manual check. That won't work. So we probably want to do something like saying, okay, let's have an option to do workflow dispatch. I will once again commit that too very quickly. Fix use workflow dispatch, and now the commit messages will be a bit meh, but it's fine. So refresh that, and here we added this line of workflow dispatch, and that could maybe say yes, run workflow. Good. Let's see if it works or not. one workflow run. It failed. The workflow is not valid. Okay. This is not going as intended. Line 26. Oh yeah, okay. Oh, we didn't. Of course. I will switch back to the code, guys. This also makes sense. We didn't put in any env here, right? We didn't even say, hey, use this in this secret. So of course it won't work. What we need to do here is we need to define like, okay, Twitch client ID is secrets dot Twitch client ID. And same for the secret, because this is how we tell GitHub Actions to use the proper env variables. And of course, before it was not valid. So how about we check it again? And let's run it once again and see how things go. At least it didn't break right away. Let's see what will happen. All right. Setting up the job, that's good. Our description is valid so far. That's great. Install node, it failed at install node because PNPM is not there. Do I need to enable GitHub Actions PNPM core pack? Do I need to enable it with core pack? Could that be? Does setup node has core pack? Enable core pack by default. Yeah, it would be great. It's also there. Run core pack enable. Yeah. The question is, we don't do that yet. Okay, so I guess we really have to put that in to enable core pack, which is fine. So let's do this straight away. So like, okay, we set up node. Or we can just do core pack enable here, fix enable core pack, and go back and see how things go. Run number 4. Because yes, okay. Yeah, core pack true would be the easiest to do actually. It would be really nice. Is this it's closed? Well, here we go, because experimental. We'll see how things go. Okay, it did fail again. Still unable to, okay. Oh, because of the cache. I see. That's a bit unfortunate. Yeah, probably have to do a little workaround there. Okay. Then we have to do this. Let's not cache. We enable core pack here, and then we do something what was suggested in the GitHub issue, and say basically that's a workaround, which I will also just link. Say like extract cache dependencies, and then we can just do cache, but not yarn. We want to use PNPM with lots of ends apparently. Core fix core pack issue, and let's see where this brings us now. It's interesting though that this is not solved yet somehow. Or maybe I just I'm not aware of a solution, which is very much possible too. Okay, let's check. I mean, now it should install Node without any issues in theory, and then come back to it. Okay, yep, nice. Almost there. It's just not allowed to commit it. That's actually correct, because I think you have to set the permissions for it. We have to set the permissions somewhere to say read and write. So that's a good step in the right direction. And maybe if we're lucky, we can just run it now. Because if this was the step that was missing, then no biggie. Also, that's it. Wow, that was fast. Let's see the results. Latest new Twitch status, it's in there. Okay. We did that part. Let's quickly update the README and say, maybe I'll do this. Do this after the stream so I can link the VOD. That might be the easiest. Yeah, I'll do that after stream. And add it here. Or if somebody wants to, feel free. Add README with stream link when it was built in public. Yeah, have wanted. If somebody wants to add it afterwards, very happy to see that. So there we go. Okay. And now it's time to actually request that file and check out how things are going and build it on air. Yeah, on air sign, I would say. Let's stay at the camp for a little bit. Or, you know what, let's switch to code only. And let me very quickly change the code window back. To the right one. Here we go. So let's clear it here too. Let's, can we sync that? Oops, because I think I've uploaded these images already. Anyway, it should be fine. Okay. Let's start a new terminal once again in the right one. And let's do pnpm def here, which should work more than fine. I mean, I'll double check with pnpm I. That's okay, pnpm def. So I can close the old playground window probably forever. Ever. And yeah, we're ready to build it. So we have that in navbar, right? We have it. Oh, let's probably reload Volar. Did I set up the built-in TypeScript? Is it disabled? It's not disabled yet, that's why. Okay. Important, so Volar can use the takeover, so that will work. Let's go to coding cam. Here we go. Back here. Okay, what we'll do now is very simple approach. We have the link, which is this one. So we do const live URL is this one, or like stream changes endpoint, whatever. And what we could do is we can say const result is $fetch, and then we put in the URL stream changes endpoint, and we can also, you know what, we can just do use fetch, and we do the server false thingy, which means just saying use like server false. We can also do it lazy. It should not be fetched on server because, well, if it generates, it's not the point. So we have data here, and we also have refresh here, which would be very helpful because what we want to do is use the data to show the dot sign, whatever. Refresh every X minutes. I don't know. 5, 10. We can build that part at first. This is really straightforward. We can just do use interval function, and then we can just do this. This is the beauty of view use because it comes from view use. All right, and now we will go to the GitHub part, which is here, right? And maybe we just link to Twitch here instead and say to my Twitch channel. And instead of this, let's do a span here and say data dot value dot, yeah, what do we have? Not type. We can do title, for example. Just rendered it here for now. Of course, data is unknown, so we can just do any for now, which is not exactly correct, I know, but we can type it later. First, we want to see if it works or not. Okay, let's go back to localhost and give it a try. I'll switch to the correct browser in a second. Let's close the next DevTools, and we got something that was not expected. We got a 500, which says, oh, other things. Cannot do this, cannot do that. And here we get an actual 500 already on the server. Why that? What's happening here? This is already 500. Interesting. Okay. What does the console say? The console says nothing. All right. Just double checking that it's not because of some leftovers, but I didn't have anything else running there. Ah, there we go. Now it gives a proper error message saying unhandled error during render function, error code during app initialization cannot access proper value. Setup data is null. That makes more sense. So data.value, data is a ref, right? It should be, but of course, data here might be empty, which is fine. I mean, we can just go around it by just awaiting it. It's not a best practice in terms of performance. You rather want to have like a loader or something to show, but it's still not going well. But the data would be the correct thing here. Oh, because that value is totally stupid because we unwrap it already. In the template, it's already unwrapped. So why would you use that value here? And then it really doesn't make much sense. Now it also looks a bit better in the browser. It doesn't give any weird issues here. Okay, so the GitHub thingy is gone, and we can see here that there is something that's empty. So maybe we have some XHR calls if we open it again. Then we can debug. Ah, latest, here we go. It's cached, okay. We can send some cache headers. And then we have a title, we have view account, we have tags. Probably should send something like cache control. It's max H300, this is not that bad, it's okay. So now we should probably do something like, okay, why not just log in data and see what's going on here, because it's an app link. And okay, here we got everything. Perfect. So we do VF data. I think that's good enough. Probably could be self-closing. Let's just do a red little dot now for now. Class rounded full. Text red 800 or something like that. Maybe it will be good enough. It will not be good enough. Probably need to, yeah. Let's give block as well. And we're getting there, but of course we need the BG red 800, otherwise it will not show up anything. There we go. Little button. Not too nice. Yeah, maybe the on air with the border could be better. Or like live. Let's do this. Let's do live. We have border red 600. That's fine. I was just saying live. Okay, we do border and border red 600. We don't do rounded full. That's a bit weird in this case, and we don't give it an explicit weight, but we want to give it a PY4 maybe. It's too high. PY2, PX4 classic. Not there yet. Not ideal. Because the others, yeah, the others have a few other values. I will probably align with them. So it's yeah, getting there. But of course it's a bit bigger now. And as we just have space x4 with the flex, maybe do like, instead we do gap 4 or gap x4. How about that? And item center with a proper, yeah, here we go. Okay. Maybe make it a little rounded MD or something. Nah. Okay, let's maybe a bit bigger border. How about border 2? And let's do PX4 just in case, because it should be a bit more broad. Yeah. Okay, and now we can go for Tailwind CSS. And yeah, don't worry, I don't have any history here. You wanted to have the ping animation like this. The animate ping is already in there, so very curious how it will look like when you just add that ping. Yeah, not exactly what we want. But I get the point that maybe if we just take a little button as well. Yeah, maybe that could even better, just like live and a little span pingy thing here. So let's go. Let's remove the border. Yeah, sorry, constantly changing my mind right now, but we have the live. Yeah, perfect. Exactly. Love it. Relative. Getting there. Top 0, right 0. Okay. They have the relative around that flex, then yeah, that makes a bit more sense. If we just give the relative here, actually, and then wrap it around here, just add a beat under it. Well, getting there, but I think we might have to give this an inline block if it's not already there. And we should probably do a bit slower and of course a bit more red, 700-ish. Maybe 25, so it's not too aggressive. And now we can, I'm wondering if we can change the duration of the animation. Have to probably do it manually, I guess. Yeah, okay. Then we'll do this. We just use the table config. So basically our Nux config, I'll go back in the code for this. And let's just do pulse slow and do pulse linear infinite. That should be fine. Oh, hey Alvaro. Thanks a lot. Yeah, it was quite some work getting there, and now we're building a little Twitch like status indicator. Would be nice if it would work at some point, but that's the plan right now. We already built the actual GitHub action that fetches that, so that works well. Just have to ensure that now the website actually fetches it. So yeah, getting there. Oh, yeah, well, I definitely wouldn't mind some 3D here. I mean, site is open source now, so could be really cool. So let's yeah, somehow my Firefox a little hiccup here and there. Ah, of course, now it works. Sure. This is still not desired though. And inspector is also come on, Firefox. You did so great today. There we go. Yeah, it's getting there. Maybe I will give the inline flex back. Let's try that. Inline flex. Nope. You know what? Maybe because it's in the link itself anyway. Let's wrap that in template. Because yeah, now it's not there at all. I thought so. But here should we go again? Let's see. Yeah. How about we just do a fixed height and width? Yeah, something like that. Maybe a bit smaller and then maybe more opacity and then we're good. Yeah, I think that's okay. And if we just give this a text decoration, decoration red 500 or something, to be like a proper link. Or maybe, yeah. Why not? There. Or maybe just make it straight away in red. How about that? Live now. Okay. On mobile, this would probably, yeah, it's not here. I would probably put it next to it. That could be nice. But I think I have a feeling that this will break my, yeah. I thought so. Maybe the now is not even here. That's not ideal. You know what? I will do this. Instead, I would just use it. I would just use a Twitch icon here. So name MDI Twitch. Is it because the GitHub icon was here before, right? So this shouldn't. Yeah, that's good enough. But this is only hidden. Oh no, it's not hidden. We do MD hidden, and then we have the live, which is another span, and it gives the class hidden. Or it can also do max SM, I think hidden. They have some cool selectors there, but no, max MD hidden. Oh, we just do a very classic. I have to double check. Hidden MD block or MD inline in this case. So the Twitch icon doesn't hide, but actually I don't mind. It's pretty nice there. Probably give the text red to yeah, and give the icon the good old purple class text purple 700 or something. Yeah, almost. Probably then the live doesn't need a. Now we can add the now and need a little bit of spacing. Something like that. Maybe a little bigger text LG. That's okay. Yeah, the now might be a bit too much. So let's do LG. Let's do it hidden, but an LG inline. So the actual now is gone. We like live now. That's okay. Here it's already tricky. Okay, interesting. Maybe we'll just do it straight away in LG. The live now part. That's only for desktop. That's fine then. I mean, this is still obvious enough, I would say. Okay, then live now, and then we're good. Okay, last thing to do on the smallest screens here, we actually have to add that little part here. So how do we do that? We go to the mobile menu here, and I'll just do a VF data here. Wrap that around. Yeah, not exactly, because probably this is. Yep. Yeah, it's item center. Okay, I see. So probably have to do another diff around these two. And maybe this should be also flex. Item center gap 8 for relative. Okay, this looks a bit weird now because of the bumping there. We don't need this actually. Maybe we can just well, it's nice that I copy the diff, but it would be also good if I actually copy the link. So the actual app link here would be good to copy this. You know what? Let's ride with that. But it's a bit tricky. It should be probably here. If data 2 is right, because it can't be the whole container. Otherwise, the menu would also link. That would be a problem. Probably need most of. Yes, that's better. Most of this we don't need, like transition. We don't need the border. Text-based for medium is okay. This is okay. The hover, we don't need the hover that much. It's a mobile. Text gray, now we have something else in place. We don't need MD because it's only the mobile. Okay. Have a look. When we're online, looks like this. Of course, that can be expanded to like, oh yeah, what if you like, I don't know, have a popover with this is the streaming title, that's why we set the data, right? So that can be pretty nice. Oh yeah, maybe I actually should hide that on SM hidden or something. Because, well, let's do TSM hidden. Oops. Yeah. I'm just wondering. Yeah, that's a bit weird. Probably should properly hide the whole thing. Yes, there we go. That looks better. Okay. It's, well, it's not exactly in time, as in we still took a little bit. We're on for almost 3 hours, but it's there. It works. And this will be a little PR now. We have the pulse. Yes, we have navbar changes. We have the refresh. It's fetched lazily. And what else will you need? Especially when you're offline, then it will have no impact except that one fetch and subsequent fetches. So let's say we made it very nicely. We open new branch, feed Twitch live indicator, feed add Twitch live indicator. And we publish this. We create a pull request right away, as you should do. And now we go back into our browser, go to the actual correct URL. Of course, there's a pull request. So we can maybe edit this. We built a Twitch live indicator on stream. What was the repository? No, we checked all this. Lichter.io Twitch status here. Also check out. Okay. Good. We're good to go. We can merge this. Only thing I have to do is actually change the Netlify settings. So it will be actually synced because it's still in the old playground repository. I didn't do that yet. But other than that, well, we're good to go. We can see that online. And yeah, I think that's almost that for today. If there are any questions left, that's your chance now to drop them in. Any thoughts, any ideas? That's the time for it now. While I change the Netlify repository and link it to a different one. Actually, back to Lichter.io. There we go. All right. Yeah, then I think this concludes our little launch party. It's the website is open source. 3 blog posts were released in the last 3 days, actually. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and tomorrow there is up for another surprise. So I'm very curious what you all will think about that. Definitely check out my socials, follow them along. I would be very happy to see you in future streams, because this will definitely not be the last time doing that. I had a blast. I hope, yeah, you learned a thing or two too. I could answer questions that came up. I'm happy to, to show you around. And if there are any more questions, please feel free to create some issues. Shoot me a Twitter DM or whatnot. And by all means, just reach out. So yes, thanks a lot. And I will keep this a weekly thing. So I will plan that. Yeah, I think for the next week, next Thursday, I should be back on track here. And after that, I will see what dates and appointments will work out. So thanks, everybody. See you next Thursday, and have a wonderful day and week. See you then, folks. Or you know what? One more the intro. One more time. Bye, everybody.